good evening all. This is the 28th webinar talk, New Age Startup Model. Our principal ma'am has conveyed her wishes for this meeting. We welcome our speaker of today, Mr.Shameer, faculty members of our college, and all our alumni friends. Mr.Shameer belongs to the 2005 batch, Padmashree branch. I request Naveen to introduce the speaker. 14 minutes.
So, Shameer is from SREC BE 2005 grad, and he is the co-founder of By the Startups, and he is also the co-founder of a startup called Pick My Voice, and he is also a very good singer. He will be able to modulate his voice very well. So with that, and Shameer also holds some key positions when it comes to the startup ecosystem in Coimbatore. So he is currently into the third batch of By the Startups group. If I correct me if I am wrong, Shameer. And on top of that, he is also doing a lot of consulting work when it comes to a startup ecosystem. At the same time, if anyone wants to know anything on the social media space or the digital media marketing space, especially on how to rank your page well on Google, Shameer would be the right person to go to, because his venture By the Startups, it ranks #1 when it comes to searching of startups from Coimbatore keywords. So he's also an IT consultant and a media marketing person. And with that, I welcome Shameer to this group. I am sure he's going to deliver something musically too. Or even not musically, I would say, through his voice, and at the same time add a lot of value for today's session. Welcome, Shameer.
Pleasure to associate with SREC, the Alumni Association. I would like to thank the patron, Mrs. Alumni President, Mr. Vasanth, President, Secretary, Mr. Thomas Renald, and Naveen, and all the office bearers of SREC Alumni Association, and participants and members of SREC Alumni Association. It's been a pleasure. It's a Sunday. Well, everybody will have their own agenda. People would love to meet their relatives on Sunday, but there may be some work, with people would have intentionally reserved on a Sunday evening. But then, I'm so happy that an excess of 40 plus participants have come for the session. So normally, as you can, as Naveen said, for the last 3 weeks, I have sung the intro song for you, but I don't want to disappoint this week. I'll be singing a intro song, but this one is a slightly different song. It's a motivational song by K.J. from the film Marubadiyum, I think, composed by Ilayaraja. So I'll be starting off with a motivational song, followed by my a little bit of journey that I've had, since 2015, ever since I started these, these startup firms and startup community. So let me first start with the song, and then I think we'll move on with our regular session. Naveen, can I, with your permission?
By all means, sir. By the way, Shameer is also one of the most learned persons, I would say. He's a voracious reader. To my knowledge, he has read more than 1,000 books. I don't ask me whether it is engineering. And now, Shameer, the stage is all yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Naveen. Thank you so much. எல்லோருக்கும் நல்ல காலமுண்டு நேரமுண்டு வாழ்விலே, எல்லாருக்கும் நல்ல மாற்றமுன்று ஏற்றமுன்று உலகிலே, எல்லோருக்கும் நல்ல காலமுண்டு நேரமுண்டு வாழ்விலே, எல்லாருக்கும் நல்ல மாற்றமுன்று ஏற்ற வீணாக்களும் கனாக்களும் வீணாகையே உன்னால் வரும் கைகூடிடும் போராட்டமே நாளை என்றோ நாளை நம்புங்கள் எல்லோருக்கும் நல்ல காலமுண்டு நேரமுண்டு வாழ்விலே எல்லாருக்கும் நல்ல மாற்றமொன்று ஏற்றமொன்று உலகிலே மண்மீதிலே எந்த ஜீவனுக்கும் அளவில்லாத ஆஸ்திகள் ஒன்றல்லவே மூராயிரத்தை தாண்டி நிற்கும் தேவைகள் நினைத்தது நடப்பது இவன் வசம் அனைத்தையும் முடிப்பது அவன் வசம் தெய்வம் என்ற ஒன்றை நம்புங்கள் எல்லோருக்கும் நல்ல காலம் உண்டு நேரம் உண்டு வாழ்விலே எல்லாருக்கும் நல்ல மாற்றம் ஒன்று ஏற்றமுன்று உலகிலே. Thank you. That thank you.
Super, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So that I think we'll move on to the main the theme of today's meet. So this is all what we have been here, right? So the last 4 weeks we have been the last 27 topics or titles have been different ones. For me, one of the favorite topics was, I think, 2 weeks back when someone from the 2011 batch, from the 2008 batch spoke on what is true and what is not. So there have been a lot of interesting topics, but this week I have picked a very unique topic on New Age startup model. So I'll be sharing my life journey as well, where all this started, the startup ecosystem of Coimbatore, and how Coimbatore as an entrepreneurial city has been doing quite well. I think before starting my startup journey, I would like to say something about By the Startups. So By the Startups is a community. Basically, it's a business community of established businesses, startup entrepreneurs, established business, SMEs. I have mentors in my community, investors, VCs, angel investors, people from the academia, and the different facets of startup ecosystem. A startup ecosystem, is composed of entrepreneurs, mentors, investors, and people from the academic area, like college institutions and universities. This is what By the Startups is essentially made of. This is a component of what By the Startups is all about. So any meeting that we start, any By the Startups meeting for that matter, we start off with a small prayer. I'll just repeat it. You don't have to repeat the prayer. You just have to close your eyes or imagine God, standing before you. This is basically the By the Startups community prayer that we normally share and recite, before the start of any meeting. So this is a convocation. O you, who are the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, the Lord of heaven and earth, open our earth, open our hearts that we may hear your voice, which constantly come from within. Disclose to us your divine light, which is hidden in our souls, that we may know and understand life better. In the name of the Almighty Lord, the most merciful and compassionate, give us your great goodness, teach us your loving forgiveness, raise us above the distinctions and differences which divides us, send us the peace of your divine spirit, and unite us all in your perfect being. This is the prayer that we normally recite. Next slide, Naveen. Okay, what does this community basically do? Okay, so I'm not. This is not a promotional sort of webinar for by the startups. But then when I run through the first 4 or 5 slides, which I'll be stopping from there onwards, you'll get a basic idea of what by the startup all this before I start my the journey, my life journey with you. So by the startup basically build very strong communities. We have by the startups business and by the startups knowledge. BTSB and BTSK is what the 2 components of our community setup is. We bring about business referrals, leads through community building through BTSB, and BTS store is BTSS, the e-commerce end of by the startups, where where we also show products of our community members. So we create, curate, and share knowledge, stories, and experience to community building. We help enhance conversion and sales through a BTS platform. We listen, then we act. We ignite and accelerate. We convene and connect. We put back into the community that we work with. We never believe in creating separate forums for women and transgender community. And finally, we seek results, if not excellence. Next slide, Naveen. So this is what basically the manifestos, or why by the startups, why the startup ecosystem in the formation of what the ecosystem is. We believe in the power of the community, giving and receiving. We believe in human capital, and that knowledge is city and information is the door or the gate. We believe in fairness and equality. We believe women have equal rights to leadership roles. We believe technology is the key to accelerating growth and serving mankind. We believe laughter is good, smile is good. We believe business can be a place to make friends for life. We believe business is good and can do only good. We believe treating people with respect gains respect. We believe nothing comes for free in this world. We work for and expect value for ourselves and for our members. We believe money is not at all evil, and it's absolutely fine to have or seek more and more of it. So this is basically what By the Startups community is all about. So it's a close-knit community of entrepreneurs, of different facets of the startup ecosystem. Like we have mentors, academicians, expert professionals of the business ecosystem, startups, SMEs or SMBs, and early stage ventures as well. Even if you're a student entrepreneur, you can join By the Startups community. So this is one of the communities this is one of the good things that I did in my life early on. That was, I started this in 2016. So how did this journey started? So I started life as a content developer. It was I think I started my life as a content developer when I was in the college. Even when I was in college in SREC, I used to do freelancing for some of the clients. My first client was in 2002. I did my first video content. I did my first content for a video for a civil-based construction firm based out of Bangalore. So even when I was in college, I used to do content writing. I used to do script writing. And I used to get some decent bucks as well. They would give me, say, like 2,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees for a script, which I used to spend for myself. And my father was an active businessman. He was a transport contractor. He was a forward and clearing agent. Like, he was associated with the companies like Banariman Institute of Banariman Sugar and Banariman Flour Mills. So I do have this little bit of business background that I may expect to start any business. So that was for me when I was in college. And even when I was in college, I used to do freelancing projects. And post 2000, when I came out of this college, my first job was in a core company called Pramura Software Solutions that was in Tudilur. That was an MNC, and I was working as an IT. Sorry, I was working as a IC testing professional. I was doing probe testing. That was my first job. And there, when I was working there, the HR, one day he called me and said that I was not suitable for the job, and probably it would be better if I leave this job before he kicks me out. So that was the first bitter experience that I had with it. Not because it's because that when I was there, I personally felt that I was not suited for the job. It was more of testing. It was more of a very it was more of a routine process where I have to come every day morning. They'll give me some sheets of paper to test the IC, and I need to test the recordings, and I need to hand over this to my manager. And that process was going on for the past for the best part of it, say 1.5 years or so. So people thought that I was more suited for the creative end of life, like advertising, video creation that I started on earlier, content creation, copywriting, and blogging. So the HR was really right. He said that, yes, you have worked for 1.5 years, but still we feel that you're not suitable for this job. Probably we'll recruit some other individual. And he advised me to look for a suitable creative job. So I left the job. I think around 2007. I was working for the past 1.5 years since I left the college in 2005. My father was disappointed as well. Because I just when I was just about to leave this my first job, my father got ill. He had a heart attack in 2008 and he passed away. And just before that, I joined another an MNC called VSC Media. VSC Media was based out of UK. We had our office in Cyber Colony. It was a 50 plus staff company working for UK e-commerce process, and it was there I learned SEO, search engine optimization. As Naveen would have said, I can write at will. I was trained there. My first SEO guru was Ramesh Prabhakaran, who was the best SEO in India at that time. Probably I would rank he's one of the top 10 SEOs that we have had in India. I was trained under him, and I was trained as an SEO as well. So I got my first project there. I worked there for a good 2.5 years. Got conversant with the SEO styles, and that was the first experience of SEOs. I learned digital marketing after that. And digital marketing is huge. Okay, it's not restricted to just search engine optimization. And in 2008, I was quite lucky. I was really unfortunate. I was kind of fortunate that most companies didn't have SEOs at that time, and there was a great demand for SEOs and digital marketers. I learned PPC, pay per click. After that, I learned a bit of social media marketing as well. Social media marketing was at its infancy. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, they all came afterwards. And that was after 2012, 2013 when these social media channels came up. And then YouTube was a phenomenon. Then YouTube was acquired by Google at that time. We had only SEO at that point of time. So the next job for me was, I was working really well, and I was paid very well. But then I thought I must slowly move on to leadership position, and I got a call from Angular to join me as an SEO analysis. And then I joined SEO analysis. In just 5 or 6 months, I became the project leader there. Fortunately, I had that opportunity to build a huge SEO team of 10 plus SEO professionals. And 2010 came, and there was this world recession, right? Dubai, US, except India, under Manmohan Singh, which was doing very well at that time. He was a good prime minister, in fact. Every country was reeling under economic recession. We lost projects as well. But then the SEO that I developed was going quite well. We had an excess of 15 projects, and SEO is a recurring process. As a client, you need to pay fee every month. Okay, right? Even if it's 20,000 or 30,000, or probably in the UK or US, they may charge in excess of 50,000. You may have to pay every month. So which means that my department, my SBU alone was going very well. And we slowly expanded to team to 5 to 10 to 15, and that was going on. And it was at that time, I had the Angular company has its own video team as well. So I was working for the video team as well. I was writing scripts for them. So when I do SEO, they made sure that I get some content projects as well. So so the 2008 to 2012 was probably, I think, the learning phase for me as a leader, because I got certified as a internal quality analyst. Probably the first one, in the company, in the history of the company, to get certified for the first time. I'm a qualified internal auditor on the same lines. So SEO there was more about leadership. I learned the art of moving with clients, what their understanding what the requirements are, what the needs and wants are, more importantly, giving them results, giving them business, giving them ROI. And 2012 to 2000, I was there in the MNC for 2000 until 2012. Now after 2012, I thought probably I slowly, this entrepreneurial flavor came. It slowly started, bugging me. So I thought that maybe 2012 to 13, I should move to starting my own firm. It was at that time I got a freelance project from Australian project called Supreme Technology and Energy Solutions. So I got a freelance project from a Tamilan, Tamilan who settled down in Melbourne. He gave me the first project, freelance project, Supreme Technology and Energy Solutions. Fortunately, he was paying me well. And one fine morning, he called me up from Melbourne and said that probably I should start an office in India. And I said that I had no prior, business experience, and probably should look for some business analysis or consultant who can guide me, and I can start, a firm in Coimbatore. He said that it's not required. I hand over the keys to you. You can look after the entire process. So I joined there as a founder for Energy Solutions India company, India Private Limited here. And then I started inducting people. It expanded to 10, it expanded to 12 plus. It was going well. It had a client base of 50. It had a client base of 50 plus clientele to start off with. And when I came off of this, of this company in 2016, it grew up to 1,300 plus clients, active clients. I mean, they're not passive clients, but active clients. Melbourne University, MCG, the cricket club, MCG was our client. And it all happened due to my SEO process, search and optimization process. And then we also had a back office operation, to talk with clients with good infrastructure. So it was all there. When then I said that probably I should look for some more adventures, some more meaningful life. Still, so someone who's managing the company in India doesn't mean that he's a founder of a company. Still, I was under a payroll. So I started trekking on my own path. In 2016, I started ID Projects Media. ID Projects Media, I think towards the end of the year 2000, my first IT consultant. That was probably very challenging because I had to forgo a regular job. It was okay with my mother, but in 2016 when I got married, my wife was not okay with me. He said that I should still continue working for a company, look after my startup. But then I was very reluctant. I was very confident that probably I would make it to the top level. It's still going well, but 2016 was very challenging. To start off with, clients are very few to come. But the beginning of 2016, I got my first client, a publishing company who has to do his website. That was from a freelancer, from someone who managed the company, and to someone who has founded his own company. So journey was quite arduous, quite not without hurdles. The 2016 January, I got my very first client, Arahan Publishers. I still remember, and then followed by 2-3. So it was going. I was just consulting web design, logo design, content writing, app development. App development was very, there were very few projects. App development was slowly, it's expanding its wings. And it was during that time that I thought that I should do something different from what I was doing. So I met Maha through, I met a boy called Mahalingam. I call him Maha through one of my contacts. So that begins my story. He was working in a video company called Toon Explainers. Okay, you can just Google it, Toon Explainers. He was working in a company. I know him through one of my contacts, and he was working explainers for when I met, he said that he wanted to start his own video production company. I was doing consulting at that time. I said, why not we start together? He was very interested, but remember, he ran from his home. Okay, 3 years back, this Mahalingam, he ran from his house from his home in Madurai 3 years back. Joined here, and with 100 rupees investment. Okay, so I helped him, and we both started our company in 2017, and that company was Visual Birds. Visual Birds is a 2D, 3D company. We have our office in Bahardar University, MBA department. You can just call me up and come visit our office anytime you want, for projects or for just casually, chatting with me. Possibilities are infinite. So we started our office in 2017. We started off with one animator. One script developer. I was controlling. We had a illustration artist as well, artist, and that was there. So we started off with 5 people in Cyber Colony, and we had a decent flow of projects. We were doing projects close. We were closing deals close to. So it was a decent number, and Coimbatore didn't have too many animated video companies at that time. iPhone Videos was one. And how many of you have seen the ad Talabagattu? It was done by Shivaprasad Velaidam. So fireworks. So there were only 3 or 4 companies that was doing video 2D, 3D video production. So our videos was basically oriented toward business end. We were not doing any videos from an entertainment point of view, but our videos was a mix of information as well as entertainment. Here we completed around 15 to 20 video orders in the first 3 months. I'm still mentoring this 2D Visual Birds, and from Visual Birds, we had another problem. The video production was going on. The video production at one point of time faced a very acute shortage of voiceover artists, dubbing artists. Most videos have voice artist. So we thought, why not start a platform for voiceover artists? And that was when I started this Pick My Voice. So Pick My Voice was also started by myself and Mahalingam. And when we started this Pick My Voice platform, we thought that we should give more opportunities for voiceover artists. So we started looking for voiceover artists. There are a lot of voiceover artists, voiceover talents, from colleges, universities, and there were a lot of kids who are interested in voiceover. We brought them all together in one platform called Pick My Voice. And whenever that these voiceover artists that we have had, not on a payroll basis, but on a contract basis, made the voiceover part for them. And apart, a lot of projects for audio dubbing, voiceover. And today's trend is that how many of you listen to audio ebooks? So we started making audio books for different publishing companies. Most LP publishing companies, they approached us for audio ebook, and that was that proved profitable for us in the long run. And now the trend is, people make videos for digital divya. There are a lot of e-training websites, e-training platforms online, and the voice requirement was huge. Voice requirement is huge in terms of different talents. So that my voiceover artist that I had in my voice community or Pick My Voice platform had a lot of opportunities, and they started doing this e-training videos as well. So we did a lot of e-training videos for different colleges across India and the UK as well. US, of course, is a huge market for voiceover. So that was there. So Pick My Voice, Visual Birds, it's a huge journey for me in terms of the exposure, in terms of the in terms of clients that we have met, in terms of prospects, in terms of the opportunities that we have had, the creative abilities that we were able to hunt and bring them into our fold. It was an amazing journey. And when these things were set in motion, Visual Birds and Pick My Voice, I thought maybe I should start something for the startup community. So as we were working with startups have their own share of problems, right? Startups have their own share of problems. Like some will be looking for funding, some will be looking for mentoring, some may be looking for connects, some may be looking for networking possibilities. And there are a lot of startups who will be looking to align with other startups for specific operations. Like for example, there may be a startup who will be looking for a connect for a financial process with the other company. So these are the sort of problems the startup ecosystem actually undergo. So I started this platform around 2016, I think December or November, and for the first 2 months, we have around 50 entrepreneurs joining our community. We were able to give them a good pool of mentors, investors, VCs, people who are looking for connects. We tied up with different media houses like Economic Times. We tied up with Pudhiya Thalaimurai last year for an expo in Hindustan College of Engineering. We partnered with News 7 in 2018 for an event called The Talk. Dinathan tied up for a student entrepreneur event. So that was the media connect that we also had. But more than anything else, the connect that we had with entrepreneurs was tremendous. Personally, I was getting a lot of projects, to be very honest, I was getting a lot of projects from the community, but the connects that I was able to give them useful for them. For example, when you think that you should, for example, when you think that you should be connect with for a specific operation, you can talk to me, and I will put you through the right connect, right? So this is what my journey is all about, from Visual Birds to Pick My Voice to Buy the Startup. So let us come to the topic today that we have had. What is the new age startup model, right? I feel that there are only two different models to become a millionaire or to become a business individual, to business person. You should try to emulate or to copy $200 million company to make 20 crores at least. Okay, right? But if I copy Uber or an Ola, I would be able to make, say, 2 crores at the end of it. That is the first business model. To become an entrepreneur, we should first try to copy a model which is doing really well. It may be a Ola, it may be a Uber, or any which you are looking for, or it can be in Uber Eats or Zomato as well. So this is the first that you can copy to become an entrepreneur. The second model is that you need to find a problem. So this is the new age startup model that I'm going to talk about. So how can you become a new age startup model, right? So to become a new age startup model, first you have to look for problem. Give some examples of how a lot of startups in Coimbatore themselves following the second model, right? In society or personally or on a professional level, if you think, there are a lot of problems around which you need to pick out. For example, there was one startup, two students in Katmagam Institute of College who started a startup. Okay, there was no laundry services around. Okay, the college is situated, from a distance of 40 kilometers from Coimbatore. 30 kilometers, to be exact. There was no laundry services. So two of the people, the students in Katmagam Institute of Technology tied together and laundry startup for themselves first. And this startup expanded, and they started serving this students. And when they started, they were, the local people around, which made them enable to expand the startup. So this was a very simple idea. There was no laundry service around. Now, what was it? How did they do it? They started an app service. Very simple. You just need an app service, right? You don't have to build a huge brick and mortar model and look for people, look for investors. App model. So this is what exactly the idea was, to start a app model. And when they started this app model, the first 3 months they had around 100 customers, and the local people, after using this, the adoption rate was high in the first 5 or 6. In the 6 adoption rate was high, and people started using this app. And for next 7 or 8 months, they had around 2,000 active customers. That's what you need to do. So what is the first step that you need to look for a startup, right? Look for a startup ideas, look for problems. Look for problems around. There are hundreds of problems. So what is the solution, right? What is the solution that you need to have, that you need to look for? That is how startups are made, right? And then there was another startup. You might have heard about Arunachala Muruganandam, right? There's a taboo. There is a taboo among women to speak about menstrual periods, right? No one talks about menstrual periods. Can any woman or men talk about periods in public? That's a taboo, right? But that's not a taboo according to Arunachala Muruganandam. Arunachala Muruganandam founded invented a sanitary napkin for less than 2 rupees, right? I think it costs 1 rupee now. But with that, he a social model for them. So there was a problem around which he devised a solution for it. The problem was menstrual hygiene. In most village households, especially in North India, you can see that women don't have access to menstrual hygiene. So that was a problem. The solution was he needed a sanitary napkin, and Darren liked the solution. For that to happen, he need to invent a low-cost sanitary machine, right? Sanitary pad manufacturing machine. So that was what he invested, and then he invested in material called fibrous cellulose, which using which he was able to make this sanitary napkin pad for less than 1 rupee. So new age startup model, any take Ola. Who would have imagined that before 7 or 8 years, we will have our own, we will have a taxi service just at the click of a button? Isn't it fabulous? You know, we have so many solutions today. Who would have imagined that Uber Eats or Zomato would have existed 8 years back? But $1 billion company which invests only in idea. Any cap facilities as such, but the solution that they found out was to the operators, you know, car owners, right? So what was the problem? Problem was inaccess to transportation, delayed transportation, and there was no way that you can monitor where you are going, the route, and the prices. You know, the cab fare was on a higher side. So these were the real problems that Eats or Ola or any other you know, good startups, any other unicorn that have been raking in millions were able to make. So you need to look for problems. There are a lot of unsolved problems around which you need to solve, right? Look for a problem. When you you know, initiate a startup, look for problems, and what is the solution there for? Next, how we are going to solve the problem. So have the why statement very intact with you. Why do you need a startup? Why do you need to solve this problem? Okay, this why statement should be ringing on your mind on and on. Only with why, the how can come. So when I started this Visual Birds, I had a very burning problem of production, which paved the way for Pick My Voice as an audio platform. So that was the kind of you know, that was the kind of idea that I have. Can I solve a problem, right? So this problem statement you need to define first. You need to redefine it. You need to give it a concrete solution, right? And from solution, you have to link if it has any commercial value. So what happens when you don't to your solution? It will become an NGO, right? Any startup that doesn't have a commercial value will be an NGO or will be termed as a social startup, right? Have this commercial value, commercial intrinsic value to whatever solution that you give, right? So that is how that is the life cycle of a startup. So it starts with the problem statement, define it, refine it, go for a solution. Any solution will have a commercial value. Link the commercial value to your solution, and there you get a startup. So what are the other methodologies you need to build a concrete startup? Yes, you need to have a right team. You need to have investment. You need to have funding. You need to have the synergy between between different operations. Right? There are so many startups that I can quote. Bright startups that that have made a huge impact in Coimbatore. One of my favorite startups is Pick My. It was started by my friend called Uday. The first explainer video company in 2012. They are doing really well. And there is another startup called Fireworks, started by Velayadam, which is doing well. And there was another startup started in 2013, I think, by one of my friends, hyper local delivery startup called Anything Delivered, which is doing well. So these startups have all built on problems. You need to look for problem anytime that you need to start a startup. So first, have this in mind. Don't take everybody's route. Business is not for everybody. Business is not meant to go on a ravaging space and start it. When you think that you have a problem, go for the solution, give a concrete shape. And new age models, new age startups have been built only on problem definition and problem solutions. There are a lot of ideas and discussions that I may give. You need to think of your own problems. Do you find that there are any problems that needs to be resolved that you can develop into a startup? Talk to me. Be joined by the startups community. I have a lot of mentors to take you into the right direction, pilot it into the right direction, give you a concrete solution. If you're looking for funding sources as well, I have people who have access to government grants, government funding. If you're looking for angel investors, seed funding, concrete solution in terms of funding as well. But remember, in life, it is so important to find that why statement. When you get up in the morning, assess yourself why you exist today, what your objective is, your objective of existence, and that's how idea comes. So with that, I'd like to conclude my small talk that I want to share. As I said, go home, make a problem statement, define it, and you'll get a new age startup model for you, which you can refine it and develop into a business perspective. So if you have any questions, I'm ready to take participants. Naveen, are you there?
Yes.
I've been speaking on mute. Yeah,
Yes,
the
sir.
floor is open for questions.
Do you have any questions that I can?
Hello, sir. Good evening. This is Tirukural from ENA department.
Okay.
Sir, actually, I am the co-director of Exo Solutions Private Limited. In our campus itself, we have started a startup company called Exo Solutions Private Limited during 2018.
Okay.
Under the incubation of IIM Bangalore. So right now we are working with electrical and electronic products manufacturing. So we are developing a product called voltage regulator, electrical voltage regulator. So what my question is actually, is there any kind of forum for getting connected startups inside the Coimbatore? So we would like to connect with that kind of forums, especially with our alumni connect.
Okay. You just share the fourth or fifth slide, Naveen. If you can, please.
Which one? Which one? Sorry.
I think the slide.
Let me reopen it. One second. So to
So when Naveen opens the slide, sir, there are a lot of startup communities in Coimbatore, not just by the startups. You may get connected to TI. Okay, there is CMA, Coimbatore Management Association, and there is a Coimbatore startup community that is very active. They meet once a month. Naveen is also the last slide now. Yeah, just retain this slide, Naveen. Yeah. There is this one. Like there are also communities BNI which is quite business centric. You don't have to necessarily go for business when you're looking for it. So right now I would recommend you to join by the startups community. Then other communities that I recommend is TI in Coimbatore, Coimbatore Association. I don't think there are a lot of tech communities as well. Probably there is one incubation, there is one accelerator called Forge run by KCT, where there is an active tech community which they meet once in a while. So these are the tech communities that are active in Coimbatore. And there are a lot of startup events conducted by different communities. CMA conducts a monthly event in PSG College of Technology. I think once every, I think fortnightly meet that conduct. So that's a good forum. And that is Google developer as well. But for electricals, electronics specifically, I don't think there's any community for it. But there are good startups. There are good startups in different forums. Okay?
BNI meeting. So in that they have segregated into industrial community 1, industry community 2. So I'm thinking of to join in BNI. How about that, sir? Whether it will be useful?
Without commenting much on BNI, but if your BNI is suitable for people, who already have an established business, like when you have a highly established customer pool, or are you an early stage startup, or do you have the product available already in the market, sir?
Okay, thank you.
So is your product already available in the market, sir? Hello.
There is actually we have launched 2 products, that is water level controller and then automatic hand sanitizer along with thermal scanner. Right now, our product is voltage regulator. It was about to launch by, we are planning to launch by Jan. So we are already in the market with the 2 products, that is water level controller and then automatic hand sanitizer.
Water level control and automatic hand sanitizer. They are the 2 products that we already have, right? Good. So you can join BNI, but I would say that you join for the first a year or so. Probably you'll have a more connects from different chapters of BNI. There are 7 chapters in BNI. You can join any of one of the chapters and see if you can create a buzz around your product. See, story. So if you are able to, if you are able to create a beautiful story around your product or service, if you can convince your the BNI members, to have a look into your product and see, ask them to test or get their feedback from them, make them talk about your product to other BNI members, it would be a fantastic initiative. Rather than getting business, I think BNI is a good forum for you to connect with different entrepreneurs. So BNI is a good forum to start. And again, as I said, Coimbatore Management Association is also there, where you have a lot of established businesses like Lakshmi, LMW, LG, other core companies from Coimbatore. So that would be a good connect as well for you to make some partnerships at some point.
Fine, sir. Thank you. Very informative, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Go on to the next slide, please. The slide that you. I think the next slide. More questions, please. Can I have some more feedback as well? Whether please have the slide open. Can I get some more questions or feedback, please? No. The previous slide, not this slide. Please.
Yeah, Mr. Shameer, this by the startups, only for startups, or even the other companies can join in?
So this community is meant for all startups, all established businesses, startups, SMEs, early stage startups. Even you can join if you are a business mentor, if you are a consultant. If you think you can consult startups, it's open for you. Even if you are an EC of college, if you think you can add some value to the community, you can always join, sir.
Thank you.
Forum all, but we'll have different chapters as such, with different chapters and different community themes as well. Yeah, can I have some questions, or can someone give me an honest feedback of how the session was? If the session was good or bad? Probably you can you can just rate my session today, whether it was useful or whether you think that you would have done something useful rather than listening to my session. any sort of feedback, sir. Yeah, questions or feedback, anything might do to make me happy as a speaker.
Hey Sameer, this is Logesh. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Look, go.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey, first of all, feedback wise, yeah, it was great information, especially to know that so much things are happening in Coimbatore, and especially your journey. It was good. So it was not a waste of a time. Okay. So I just wanted to convey that first.
Okay, I'm happy about this.
Coming to the question part of it, so I mean, as I just reached out to you, I have something in Coimbatore. I mean, started in Coimbatore as Kannini.com, focusing on cloud and artificial intelligence training. But as you mentioned, we're trying to sort out a problem that we wanted to solve, right? The Not exactly a problem, but what we were trying to do was take technology training in a different, take a different approach, more like a localized language approach. We wanted to do it all in Tamil in a very different style for people who are coming in new to any technology. So that was the initial idea, but then it's been an year, and things have changed in the last 1 year or so. Our base was Coimbatore, and but then with all the COVID thing, we all went completely remote, which actually proved very good for us. My question here is, we still want to, keep our roots in Coimbatore. We want to go back and um, start doing stuff there. How can a company like this, which is like we probably had about um, close to 100 participants across different batches, across different technology trainings, and we are a strength of about 12 people. How do we engage with by the startups or any other
That's your
forums
staff
that you
strength, right?
mentioned?
That's your staff strength, right?
Sorry.
Around 12 people, right?
Yes. Yeah. All. So we were pretty much all remote at this point, but then we wanted to see how you talked about all the ecosystem and the people who are already engaged in this. I think I see a great potential there. How do we as a company work and collaborate with all the people in your ecosystem and find mutual opportunities or mutual ideas that we can work together?
Okay. I mean, no, your concept is good. I mean, you have already shared. I mean, we this morning, and I had a look at it. Your concept is really good and something that could really pay off big time. But as far as coming to your question, I think you should be a good networker first. See if there are like-minded people who could collaborate with you. But there are a lot of opportunities, business opportunities that happen over a coffee. Okay? If you to Bangalore or even Kerala, Trivandrum, they have a huge ecosystem. That is a startup community called Startup Village, which has been going quite well, and there are a lot of communities in Tamil Nadu as well. So you need to be a good marketer, Logesh. First, you need to meet with different individuals. Sure, there may be some early stage ventures who might add value to your mode of business. It has happened in the past, and let me tell you that I personally met my partner Mahalingam in a startup event. Okay, it's not it came through one of my contacts, and we met there in a startup event. It's not that every connects happen naturally. So you have to make the best use of networking opportunities that you get in any forum for that matter, like it may be BNI or BTS or CMA, and look for first, you need to understand your mode of business as well, and try to sync with their expectations. There are mentors you can find in a networking platform. As for me, I have a lot of business mentors in different areas of operation, and start they come to me for mentoring support. So if you think that you need a mentor for your startup operation, or any startup, like-minded startup, who think that you can sync with you in certain strategic areas, like tech development, development, or maybe from a marketing point of view, maybe they could supply that needed or fuel that needed process in your startup area. So for that to happen, I think you need to be a definite marketer. Coimbatore is a great place to do business. Let me tell you that Coimbatore has been awarded as one of the best startup cities, smart cities for the past 2 years. There have been a lot of businesses going on in the Kongu region, such as Erode, Tirupur. You don't think Coimbatore as Coimbatore alone. See, it's a huge ecosystem. Okay? You have the Kongu Mandalam as well, Erode, Tirupur, Ooty, Medupalayam. And from that end, you have regions around Hosur. It's all this Kongu Mandalam regions. It extends until Salem, right? To be correct me if I'm wrong. It extends to this Kongu Mandalam extends from Coimbatore to Salem, right? So you have huge opportunities. Okay, and this is the time you need to be in Coimbatore and start your business. Okay, so in terms of business opportunities, I'm not telling from an ecosystem point of view, but Coimbatore is the place for entrepreneurs like you. Ensure that you have a base. And any support that you can just talk to my mentors in by the startup company, or talk to other like-minded startup professionals in other startup communities. So this is the best time to be in Coimbatore, and Coimbatore is the best place for if you want to be an entrepreneur.
Great. Thanks, Sameer.
Plenty here. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Sameer. I'll be in touch. Yeah.
Thank you, Logesh. Thank you so much. Any other question that you have, participants?
Hey, Sameer, this is Suri. This is really a very good session. So yeah. I'm into the the service industry. It's almost 15 years or 20 years, having a lot of experience. And I'm hesitant to go into the startup or the building a new entity because I'm not sure about what exactly the demand, what exactly the the outcome it is, and am I going to succeed? There are a lot of bit and pieces. It's a complete puzzle. Even though I have the knowledge, I have the interest to do that, and I wanted to know how we can gather the information to build the idea. So what are all the problems exist? As an engineer, I can connect and I can easily provide the solution. But coming up with the problem statement and how this can be converted into the the real business value, how we can market that. That is the key role to succeed on it. As an entrepreneur or the startup, how you connected the dots and you succeeded. Just wanted to get your perspective.
Okay, it's a very good question. It's a very imperative question. Very interesting too as well, because you have touched on the actually idea testing, right? You have an idea, but I feel like coming to your question, you have an idea, so you need to test this idea, right? So you need to test this idea. Usually any startup for that matter would take a market research. That's so basic, right? You look into the market, how big the market is, whether it's $1 million market or $1 billion. Whether it has a market. Any startup idea, any startup solution or a product or a service should have a market. First, you need to explore the market, make a market research. How the net value of the market. If you can really cast a net and bring in early customers. It's a bright idea. If you can have 100 users in the first 4 months of operation, that's how that's the startup ecosystem is. If you can have first 100 customers in the first 5 or 6 months of your operation, then you have a real chance. And in order to test your idea, you need to iterate your idea very fast. If your idea doesn't work, you need to move on to the next bit of an idea. So you need that iteration process. You need that your idea on a faster pace. I mean, right? If it doesn't work, for example, I had two more startup ideas. It didn't really work. Okay, it didn't really work. I iterated the idea on a fast pace. Right? I tested with 50 users, and I received their feedback. I got a rating from them. I got some some inputs from them, the suggestions as well from them. But I felt that it didn't really have a market. Okay, the market presence was missing, which means that my idea proved a failure. So you need to have that idea. You need to test your ideas. You need to do this testing with your first 100 users very fast. And any idea, as I said, if it has commercial value, okay, if you have a commercial value linked to, then it would be that's a fantastic product or a solution to start off with. And the next is fast. You can generate your customers. Okay, any fantastic product or a service will be able to attract a lot of customers in the first 5 or 6 months of operation. But don't restrict it. It can have, you can extend this period up to 1 year. But if you are able to attract customers in the first 5 or 7 months of operation, then it's going to be a fantastic idea. And estimate the longevity of your idea. If your idea can say, if your product or your solution can stand the market forces for the next for the first 3 or 4 years, just for an example, then you have an excellent product or a solution in your bag. But the underlying process, the underlying point is that test your ideas in the market very fast. Okay, and once that result, and when you feel that if there is a commercial value behind it, I think it's a fantastic. That's what I did with my second startup as well, which is the video startup. I said, I tested the idea. I felt that there are too many players in the market. My USP of the product lies in the fact that it's a 1-minute video. Okay. Most of my videos were under 60 seconds or 50 seconds, and there lies the USP of the idea was well received by my customers. They wanted to have a video within 1 minute or 60 within 60 seconds or 50 seconds of video runtime, and that's where so I tested this very fast and saw that there was a huge demand for 1-minute explainer videos, and there were 50-minute explainer videos, 10-minute videos as well. But my USP was 1-minute explainer videos. Okay, so you need to test very fast, and I think if there is a commercial value linked to it, that's where your first 100 or 150 customers lies. Apart from that, you need to make good use of social media. New age entrepreneurs make good use of social media. You need to have a very good story around it, sir. That's what I feel. Any product, any solution for that, you need to build a very a very story around your product, and this story is what can sell. Whether you're talking to investors, whether you're talking to a potential mentor, or talking to a customer. So test your ideas, test it fast, use social media tools for promotion, marketing. You don't have to spend huge bucks on billboard advertising and TV, radio advertising. Use social media in the most efficient level, in the most efficient form. And third, a beautiful story around your product or a service, and communicate the story with your customers or with their potential investors. And that's what the New Age startup model, a part of New Age startup model, is all about. So I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you very much for the info.
Thank you, sir.
Have you experienced on the the social platform or the e-business, the Shopify the Amazon or so any the Alibaba, so anything you have done it, that experience could help us in different direction as well. Have you done anything on this platform?
Yeah. When I worked, I have worked on Shopify as well. It's quite effective. It's cost effective. It's fast. It's easy to develop. You need to pay a very small subscription fee to join Shopify platform. Even Amazon, I have a mentor, who's working from the US. He's a Amazon shopping cart. Shopping e-commerce expert. I can have you call in if you want through Buy the Startups for Amazon. Shopify is a very good e-commerce platform to associate with. It gives you a lot of features, gives you a lot of models to build your product, sell it to the market very fast, and it has a lot of social media features as well. You can add discount codes, you can add subscription, you can generate SEO features as well, SEO analytics as well. There are a lot of features. You can just go and Google Shopify, and you can a lot of features benefiting you as an e-commerce entrepreneur. Apart from that, there are a lot of tools like Mendo, which is a website, which is an e-commerce builder. I use a thing called WooCommerce for building e-commerce. It's very fast and easy. It's quite cost effective. So many social media, there are so many e-commerce platforms that you can explore. Shopify, to me, best e-commerce platform that you can explore. Amazon is equally as good as Shopify as well, but again, Amazon is controlled by a third party, a third party business owner, right? You're not the business owner, but virtually you stock your products on Amazon, right, for selling. But for Shopify, you can easily build a shopping store in less than a week. Okay, so if you want any support from Shopify as such, you have my number on the screen. You can just make note of my number, and I can connect you to one of my developers, sir.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm into that. I'm focusing on that. I have few ideas to list it and explore. So I think
Sure.
so Shopify could be one of the the platform for me to take it forward. But I have a lot of questions and required some help, and I will reach you. Thank you.
Just connect with me. I can put to the right.
Sure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So any other questions?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Shameer. This is Thomas. Shameer, a wonderful presentation. Miss Mercy. Yeah, hello, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So my question is, see, when you have a 10-year experience in some field, when you're employed on roll, you have an thinking that Tamil solluna ikkari kakkara pacha nenachinga. Few would jump from that good employment and they would start up something new. Some may hit it high, some may not, and a few others would think that why to lose a job, let it be there, and we will start something and see that when it is good, we will throw the job and go with the. So that is one. So what from your side, sir? Start something, or you should the new entity
or
phase and then jump from.
Do two business at the same time, right? Okay. It's subjective, right? If you ask me, I left a very lucrative job. I left a job that was paying me well, every month. So it has its own problem. For me, my mother was very supportive. My wife was supportive as well, but most wives, they expect your salary at the first week. that is the problem. So any entrepreneur, you need to have that balanced view with your aspirations, with your family as such. So when I had my first baby in 2018, okay, and then in the month of October, I was going through a crisis as well. My business wasn't doing well, and life was kind of getting mad at me. So these are some of the problems that most startup founders will have. You need to balance. You need to have a very balanced vision, foresight, your family and your startup aspirations. Like most entrepreneurs would go through that phase. And to coming to your question, whether to have a second business or to work parallelly, or wait till your startup goes well, I think I would say it's very subjective, sir. For example, I started my in 2000 my IT project consultant, but still I was working for 4 or 5 months, in Supreme Technology, just to see where my startup was heading towards. I saw the signs were very positive. The way was looking, the way ahead was not very rough, not very patchy, and I thought maybe I could travel, in a much safer way. So that was the first impression that I had. So I was working in Supreme Technology Energy Solution. At the same time, I was operating my IT consultancy for the first 5 or 6 months before I left it. Before I left my regular pay job eventually, right? So that's really subjective, sir. But I feel that think entrepreneurship is for you. You need to have an exit strategy. You really need to have an exit strategy. When you think that your family is really dead against you, dead against your aspirations, you need to have an exit strategy as well. So what I feel as an entrepreneur is that exit strategy is very important, but at the same time, I think you should quit as well. As Winston Churchill said, never, 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 never quit. And that when you have that attribute of not quitting it, and that's still an entrepreneur in the first sense, right? When you don't quit your entrepreneurial aspirations, your entrepreneurial passions, that's where the greatness of an entrepreneur lies. But at the same time, new age entrepreneurs, new age style entrepreneurs have an exit strategy as well. So you need to have a proper exit strategy at the right time. That doesn't mean that you should quit. Okay, quitting a startup is different from having an exit strategy, right? At the same time, you should try to experiment with different ideas. If idli is not going for dosa, if dosa is not looking for, if dosa doesn't taste good, you should look for a chapati. And that's what the startup model is. You should try to come with different ideas, experiment it. But on a safer side, I would say you need to really initiate a startup. You can have a startup, test the waters, see what the feedback is, see what market condition is, see where you are heading towards, and concentrate on your part-time job. Concentrate on your full job. Okay, but don't make it a habit. Don't say that I'm going to start a startup after 3 years or 4 years. It doesn't make any sense. Startup idea is for a very short span. Okay, if you lose your startup idea, say tomorrow, someone might be using the startup idea to initiate a startup. So the startup ecosystem is very transparent. It's very volatile. The idea may be very volatile. Somebody may acquire it and develop its own startup. Okay, so it's very subjective. Either you can work in a full-time company. Okay, concentrate on your startup on weekdays. See whether you can really get some customer, get the first 100 customers in the first 4 or 5 months. If you can do that, it's a fantastic startup. And just to give an example, one of my friend's wives is into chocolate making. Okay, she's working in CTS, and she left her chocolate startup was is doing quite well now. Okay, until last year she was working in CTS. She's left the job now, and because she was working in a corporate environment, she had a lot of corporate connects, and she was now able to supply chocolate cakes and chocolate toffees, especially in the corporate segment, exceedingly well. much contrary to our expectations during the year. We used to take a lot of startup ideas and inspirational subjects whenever we have a call. So this I think is very subjective, and you need to test different models, part-time plus full-time job. A full-time job with a startup, how you can really establish things before you leave your full-time job, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Beautiful. So much. Something very unique in the market, or good to have like, for example, we have isn't it, and book tickets. Wise to have a platform like that, or very new and unique.
I to see. Happen to hear a question interrupted in two different points. So can you just repeat the question again, sir? Probably on your network.
Just whether we can have already existing business, or we should start something unique. Which one is wise?
Okay, very interesting question. As I started off in the beginning, there are two business models, sir. First, if you want to earn 20 crores, say for example, after you initiate a startup, okay, the next 2 or 3 years, you need to copycat a model that is 200 crores worth. Okay, so this said, if you want to start something like, if you want to start something in a food delivery mode or food deliveries, startup model, you need to emulate Uber Eats or Zomato or Swiggy. Okay, that's the first model. You have to be a very good copycat. Okay? You have to copy the business model as it is. That is a business model. Okay, so when you try to 200 or 250 crore company, you're going to make around 2 crores the first 2 or 3 years. That is the first model. Okay, the second model is you need to have an absolutely unique idea. Okay, your idea must be absolutely unique. For that to happen, you must solve a definite problem, a burning problem. For example, it can be hunger, it can be water scarcity, it can be anything, it can be any problem for that matter. If you have a solution for a burning problem, for a problem that doesn't have any kind of concrete solution, if you're able to build something on that model, it is the second business model. So you need to decide which one to go. That is nothing like the first one or the second one is the best model, sir. So you need to test the waters. For me, Visual Birds was started on the first model. There were a lot of video makers, there are a lot of video makers in this region, Coimbatore, South India for that matter. But my USP was 1 minute explainer videos. That was the only USP that I had. But I had a market for it. I copied the idea from other video makers as well. So the team structure, the hiring process, the technical process was all copied from other video creators. Now my predecessors, my competitors, my well-established competitors. So that was the first business model for Visual Birds. For second, from a second startup, which is Pick My Voice, the idea was unique. Okay, there was no audio platform for voiceover artists and voiceover professionals. I developed this second startup, Pick My Voice, based on that idea alone. That there was no audio, there was no community for audio professionals or audio voiceover artists. Okay, so that was the second idea. So I copied both them. I was a very good copycat to start off with. I copied a lot of ideas as well. Okay, next was I had a unique idea for my second startup. So both the models work for me. Right, so there is no like first or second model which is the best. Okay, and there is no harm in copying the idea. Don't think that see. There have been a lot of products in the market, so you don't have to look for any unique products or services. If you think you better the product, okay, you can you can develop the product in a better way than the existing product. But there lies your USP. So you're not basically copying the idea, but you are improving upon the product or service, right? That's what my point is. So you can be a good copycat, and you can be a unique a model developer as well. So both the model will work. So you don't have to worry about that, unless or otherwise you can give maximum value to your customers or your clients. Look for value, sir. Any model that you take for is not going to be a problem at all, unless or otherwise you don't give concrete value to your customers or clients. So I think I hope I answered your question, sir.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Audience, if you have any other questions, we shall go for that. So in case if there are no questions, Vasanth, shall I go for the closing remarks?
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Shameer, shall we go for the closing remarks?
Sure, sir. Sure.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, good evening, one and all. From SRE's Alumni Association, it has been a pleasure. 2005 EEE passed out. Thank you, Shameer, for being with us. Your presentation was indeed, indeed mesmerizing for all of us, like how to start up something new, and as well as to go about with already existing models. And thank you so much. It was absolutely a wonderful evening to join you. Thank you. And the audience, you have made a wonderful evening by asking very thrilling questions, especially from the first batch of SRE's Alumni Association. Thank you so much. And audience from US, Australia, and Germany were in this call. Thank you so much. And faculty team, thank you so much for being with us. It is yet another evening, and this is the 28th webinar. Thank you so much for making it a grand success. And SRE's Alumni Association has one more event coming Saturday to present to you. That is the 15th year reunion of 2005 batch. Again, Shameer will be there. It is his batch, and Sudhagar is doing a wonderful job in coordinating that. I hope our faculty members will be joining for next Saturday. And as usual, every Sunday, 6 to 7 p.m., we'll be having a webinar sessions. Thank you so much. Thank you, audience. Thank you, speaker. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, Naveen.
Thank you.
எப்பவுமே மீட்டிங் முடிச்சன கிட்ஸ்க்கு வைப்பீங்களா? அது இருக்கா இன்னைக்கு?
ஆமா, இல்ல இன்னைக்கு வந்து நான் தான் கண்டக்ட் பண்ணேன். ஆக்சுவலா பத்மா இஸ் ஆன் லீவ். சோ அதனால if the kid is available, I'll do something.
இல்ல எங்களை எல்லாம் குழந்தைங்கள நினைச்சதா வைங்க, வேற வேண்டாம். ஏன்னா நீங்க குழந்தைங்களை காணோம்.
சூப்பர். அப்போ வந்து ஆன் ஸ்கிரீன் வைக்கலாமா? எல்லாரையும் குழந்தைங்களா வச்சு அப்படின்னா இப்ப எவ்வளவு பேர் டப்பர்னு கிளம்புவாங்கன்னு தெரியல.
12
பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட். சூப்பர்.
எங்கயா ஹோஸ்ட காணோம்?
ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கேள்வி ஷமீருக்கு கேட்டுருங்க.
ஓகே. வாவ், ஒரு ஆள் வந்தாச்சு. யாரு? உங்க பேர் என்ன?
எங்களுக்கு கேட்கலையே, கொஞ்சம் சத்தமா சொல்லுங்க.
சத்தமா சொல்ல.
Jacka. Nice name. I have got something for you.
Okay, super, fantastic.
What's that? What is that you're talking to Daddy? Do you watch cartoons?
Okay, our பேர் வந்து Prithvi Jack, our name.
No, Prithvi Jack. Okay.
Super. சூப்பர்ங்க, நீங்க கண்டினியூ பண்ணுங்க.
ஓகே. இல்ல எல்லாருமே பண்றாங்க அப்படின்றாங்க, அதனால ஐ எம் ஷேரிங் a presentation. கார்ட்டூன் பார்த்திருக்கீங்களா சின்ன வயசுல?
இன்னும் பார்த்துட்டு தான் இருக்கோம்.
அது என்னமோ வாசம். சூப்பர். So this is called Toon Zoom. சரிங்களா? So there's no team building here. It's going to be individual. So என்ன அப்படிங்கிற ரூல்ஸ் வந்து ரொம்ப சிம்பிள். Can you identify this cartoon? If you are able to identify it, type it in the chat.
எனக்கு பாதி தான் தெரியுது.
ஆனா பாதி தான் காமிச்சிருக்கேன், பாதி கூட இல்ல.
இது அநியாயம்டா. இது ஒரு கால்வாசி கூட தெரியல டேய்.
ஓகே, now செகண்ட் க்ளூ.
ஓகே,
டாம் அண்ட் ஜெர்ரி கரெக்ட். இல்ல பப்ளிக்காவே போடுங்க, டாக் இன் டாம் அண்ட் ஜெர்ரி. சூப்பர்.
எங்க இருக்கு அந்த இது? எங்க போடுறது? சாட் வித் எவ்ரிவன்னா?
சாட் விண்டோல.
சாட் விண்டோலயா? சரி இரு, நானும் போடுறேன். இது வியூனோவா?
யாராவது இருக்கீங்களா? இல்லையா? இருக்காங்க, சில பேர் இருக்காங்க, ஆனா பார்ட்டிசிபேட் பண்ண மாட்டாங்க.
ஏய் நான் அனுப்பிச்சிருக்கேன்டா ஒரு ஆன்சர்.
ஓகே, எனி அதர் ஆன்சர்ஸ்? 4 3 டாம் அண்ட் ஜெர்ரி கரெக்ட். ஆனா அந்த கேரக்டர் பேர் என்ன? டாம். சார் நோ. ஓகே,
நான் மாதிரி தெரியுது. அந்த
டாம் இல்ல ஜெர்ரி அப்படிங்கறாரு. இல்ல. ஓகே, closing off. So this guy is called Spike. Okay,
ஸ்பைக்கா? ப்ரூனோ கிடையாதா?
ப்ரூனோ இல்ல,
ஸ்பைக்கா?
ஸ்பைக்.
நான் இது ப்ரூனோ நினைச்சேன். ஓகே ஓகே ஓகே, புல்டாக். ஸ்பைக்கா? ஓகே ஓகே.
ப்ரூனோ வந்து பாப்பாயில வர வில்லன் பேரு தான் ப்ரூனோ.
ஓகே ஓகே ஓகே, சரி சரி.
Okay, so this one.
Okay. Oh.
What is this? I don't know. Engineer அப்படி சொல்லலாமா?
நவீன்,
it's not a girl. Not a girl. Something related to science or engineering. Okay, here comes the next clue. I have.
இது ஒரு க்ளூ தான்.
Yes, டாக்டர் தான். சூப்பர். டாக்டர் லேபரட்டரி, டெக்ஸ்டர்ஸ் லேபரட்டரி. Exactly, Dexter. Super cool. Great job, Shameer and Vasanth Anna.
Okay.
So here goes the
குழந்தைங்க விளையாடுற கேம்ஸ்ல நம்ம
நீங்க தான் விளையாடுறீங்க.
இது கொஞ்சம் அட்வான்ஸ்டாவே இருக்குது சார். எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு கொஞ்சம் அட்வான்ஸ்டாவே இருக்குது. குழந்தைகளோட ஆட முடியுமா தெரியல.
இது ஈஸி.
ஓகே, இரு ஒரு நிமிஷம், நான் ஆன்சர் பண்றேன்.
டாம். ஓகே,
ஃபின்ஸ்டோன்ஸா? ஐயோ,
டாம் இஸ் தி ரைட் ஆன்சர். சூப்பர்.
நெக்ஸ்ட் ஒன். பார்த்து நான் ஃபின்ஸ்டோன்ஸ் நினைச்சேன். ஓகே ஓகே, ஃபைன். சரி,
இது யாரு?
எனக்கு ஒரு க்ளூ கிடைக்குது. நெக்ஸ்ட் கொஞ்சம்.
Who's this? Not me. Vasanth Anna.
பாப்பாய் தானா?
Good answer. Good guess, Shameer. பாப்பாய்.
ஓகே ஃபைன், பாப்பாய் தான். ஓகே, எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சிருச்சு. அந்த ஷூவை பார்த்து ஒரு வித்தியாசமா நிப்பான் பாத்தியா? பார்த்து நம்ம பப்பரப்பா நிப்பா பாப்பாய், அதுல தெரிஞ்சிருச்சு. ஓகே, ரைட்.
சூப்பர். பெப்பரப்பா பாப்பாய். நைஸ்.
ஓகே
ஓகே. Here comes next one. Who's this? Okay. World famous. No, it's not a duck.
வால்ட் டிஸ்னியோடதா?
World famous. Minnie Mouse.
ஓகே.
சூப்பர் சூரியனா?
மினி மவுஸ். ஓகே, ஃபைன். ஆமா, கரெக்ட்.
பார்பி. ஆனா பார்பி இல்ல. நம்ம அந்த டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்ல வீக்னு நினைக்கிறேன். This is going to be a tough one, but again, நம்ம time, this is like 90s, 2003 வரைக்கும் இந்த கார்ட்டூன் வந்தது.
ஓகே ஓகே. கேட்ஸ் இல்லையா? ஸ்வாட் கேட்ஸ்.
Yeah, SWAT cats. Super.
ஓகே.
Who in SWAT cat?
அது எனக்கு தெரியல நவீன், எனக்கு தெரியல உண்மையில. பட்
Razor. This guy is called Razor.
Razor. ஓகே ஓகே. நான் அதை பார்த்தேன்னா நான் வந்து ஸ்கூல் முடிஞ்சு வந்து நான் பார்ப்பேன். அது நல்ல ஞாபகம். 5:30 6 o'clock ஏதோ போடுவான், அந்த டைம் தான் போடுவான்.
Super. Very easy.
ஓகே.
Who's this?
ஆலிவர். ஓகே. அதுக்குள்ள போட்டாங்க.
ஆலிவர் கரெக்ட்டா கெஸ் பண்றாரு. சூப்பர். ஆலிவ். நைஸ். Who's this?
யாருமே இல்லையா? இது நான் முதல்ல சொன்ன ப்ரூனோவா?
Type it here. Popeye villain. Okay.
ஓகே.
அதேதான் ப்ரூனோ.
ஓகே ஓகே ஃபைன். அவனோட மசில்ஸ் பைசெப்ஸ் பார்த்தேன். ஓகே. இது
ஃப்ளின்ஸ்டோன். கேரக்டர் பேர். அண்ணா நோ கேரக்டர் இல்லண்ணா.
ஸ்டோன்ஸ் தான், பட் ஸ்ட்ரைக் ஆக மாட்டேங்குது. ஸ்டோன்ஸ். ஸ்மித்தா.
சண்முகசுந்தரம் சார், செல்வ கணேஷ் சார், ராஜேஸ்வரன் சார், தங்களின் கருத்துக்கள். தாமஸ் சார் வந்து
இருக்கிறேன் சார், ஆனா ஞாபகம் வர மாட்டேங்குது சார்.
குழந்தையாவே மாறலான்னு பார்த்தா
இல்ல, ரேம் ரொம்ப வீக் ஆயிடுச்சுன்னு நினைக்கிறேன், எடுத்து கொடுக்க மாட்டேங்குது சார்.
அது சரி. ஃப்ரெட்.
ஒரு நிமிஷம். ஃப்ரெட். ஆலன் ஃப்ரெட்டா? ஆலன் ஃப்ரெட் தானே பேரு? ஓகே ஓகே. சரி ஓகே.
நெக்ஸ்ட்.
அந்த பழைய
பூனைதானா? இவன்
பூனை காமிச்சிங்க இல்ல?
இவர் கேரக்டர் என்ன பேரு நவீன்?
இவன் டீபோன். இதுக்கு முன்னாடி காமிச்சது ரேசர்.
ஓகே 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 ஓகே. ஸ்வாட் கேட்ஸ் தான். ஓகே ஓகே.
இது யாரு?
இது ரொம்ப ஈஸி. இப்ப நான் சொல்றேன் பாரு.
ஸ்பைடர்மேன்.
அதேதான்.
ஆமா சார்.
நான் இன்னொன்னு பேர் போடுறேன், பீட்டர் பார்க்கர். சரியா? அவரோட எவ்ரிடே நேம் கரெக்டா?
எக்ஸலென்ட். அது Dress உள்ள. ஆனா செம கமெண்ட்னா. அது Dressக்குள்ள, இது Dressக்கு வெளியில. ஷமீரோட ஆன்சருக்கு வசந்த் நான் சொல்லியிருக்காரு. நெக்ஸ்ட். Who's this?
ஓகே.
ஃப்ளின்ஸ்டோன் ஹீரோயின். வாழ்க்கையில எல்லாருக்கும் கிடைக்கிற ஹீரோயின் தான்.
இது எனக்கு கொஞ்சம் ஞாபகம் வருது. நான் கரெக்டா எனக்கு தெரியல. நான் எனிவே நான் வந்து அடிக்கிறேன். ஆனா எப்படா நீ வந்து ஹீரோஸ் பெட்டியா? பெட்டி? பெட்டி இல்லையா? ஆனா பெட்டி இல்லன்ற.
She is called Vilma.
வில்மாவா?
Yes.
ஓகே 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 ஓகே.
Vilma and Fred.
ஆமாடா. பெட்டிங்கிறது வேற. சாரி. அதுதான். பட் பெட்டி வந்து ஃப்ளின்ஸ்டோன்ஸ் தான்.
கரெக்ட்.
இது என்னது?
சூப்பர் ஈஸி. சரிமாவா? வில்மாக்கு சரிமா.
சொல்றானே.
இல்ல, அண்ணா வந்து வில்மாக்கு வந்து சரிமா.
என்னடா இது, மனுஷனா இல்ல?
சூப்பர் ஈஸி.
அப்ஸ்ட்ராக்ட்டா இருக்கு நவீன்.
ருக்மணி மேம்.
என்னது?
If you're on the call. இல்ல 4-5 பேர் சைலண்டா இருக்காங்க. சூர்யா சார், சண்முகம் சுந்தரம் சார்.
இது என்ன வெயிலா? இது வெயிலா? இது என்ன வெயிலா?
பாக்கலங்க.
ஓ நோ.
ஓகே. இதுக்கு மேல க்ளூ வேணா. நானே
மத்தவங்களை பேச விடுறா.
சொல்லு.
பேட்மேன்.
சூப்பர் 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 சூப்பர். யார் சொன்னது?
Krish from US. Krish from USங்க.
எக்ஸலென்ட் எக்ஸலென்ட்.
அதாவது ஃபர்ஸ்ட் சாய்ஸ் நீங்க கிறிஷ் அந்த இதுக்கு தான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் சாய்ஸ் கொடுக்கணும். அவர் சொல்ல முடியலனா தான் நமக்காக சாய்ஸ்.
ஆமா.
சூர்யா சார் தான் பார்க்கலீங்க, பையன் பார்த்திருக்கான்.
நைஸ். கிரிஷ், who's this? Are you able to guess who's this? ராஜா. யார் இந்த கார்ட்டூன்ல நீங்க கெஸ் பண்ணணும்.
கிரீன் கலர் காலியாரு
பாகுபலி போட்டிருக்காரு. வசந்த் சார் பாகுபலி போட்டிருக்காரு.
பாகுபலி
கடைசியா பார்த்தா ராஜா படம் தான்.
சரி நான் போட்டுமா?
கெஸ் நம்பர் 2.
ஈமேன்.
ஈமேன்
அவன் பேண்ட் போட்டுக்க மாட்டான், பச்சை கலர்ல பேண்ட் போட்டுக்க மாட்டான். கையில அம்பு வில் எல்லாம் வச்சிருக்கான்.
அம்பு வில் யார் வச்சிருப்பாங்க?
ஓகே ஓகே தெரிஞ்சிருச்சு.
Take it from the rich and give it to the poor.
ராபினோடா?
ராமன் தான் வச்சிருப்பாரு.
அண்ணா எங்கேயோ போயிட்டீங்கண்ணா.
அம்பு வில் அவதான் வச்சிருப்பா எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு.
Super, Robin Hood. Who's this? Who's this? Very easy to guess.
Pluto.
Wow.
யாருப்பா? Pluto. ஓ கரெக்ட்டா அடேங்கப்பா. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஷாட்.
சூப்பர்.
சூப்பர்
கிரிஷ். Next.
சூப்பர் கிரிஷ்.
நீங்க தான் சொல்லுங்க.
சிப் அண்ட் டேல்.
கிரிஷ். It's not Mickey Mouse, but you're almost there.
Mickey Mouse ஒரு friend. ஆனா இதுக்கு வேற கார்ட்டூன்ல வரும்.
Donald Duck.
It's not Donald Duck.
It is a duck.
Donald is of a different color.
நவீன் நான் வந்து பாரு, நான் ஸ்லைட் அப்படியே நகர்த்தி பார்த்தேன், நகர்ல.
நீங்க ஸ்லைட் நகர்த்தி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா லேப்டாப்பே திருப்பி பார்த்துட்டேன்.
டாஃபியா?
Daffy.
Okay, Krish, you got it wrong, I think. இல்லையா? அவர் அது சொன்னாரு, பட் இது
Okay. We'll give it to Krish.
Daffy, okay.
Who's this? Very easy.
சிங்கம் புலியா? இல்ல கண்டுபிடிச்சிட்டேன்.
இவங்கள பார்க்காம இருக்கவே முடியாது.
கிறிஷ் என்ன சொல்றாரு போல?
கிரிஷ்
சொல்லு. தெரியல, கிறிஷுக்கு தெரியலையா?
ஓ நோ.
என்ன சொல்லமா?
அடுத்த க்ளூ.
சிப் இன் டேல்.
இல்லையா? ஏதோ ஸ்பெல்லிங் மிஸ்டேக்கா?
லைன் கிங்கா? அந்த மாதிரி தான் இருந்துச்சு. இல்லையா? லைன் கிங் இல்லையா? ஸ்பைக். அட குட்டி ஸ்பைக்கா?
அதேதான்.
ஓகே. நான் வந்து அது லைன் கிங் நினைச்சேன் அந்த முதல்ல அந்த இது.
அது சரி.
கிரிஷ் சொல்லுங்க கிரிஷ்.
It's a dog.
It's somebody's dog.
It's somebody's dog, okay? Yes.
What's the name of the dog?
Scooby.
Scooby-Doo.
Wow.
Scooby-Doo.
Super, Krish. Superb. That's Scooby-Doo.
Good. Very good.
Who's this?
It's not the pig. Not the pig. It's the Shinana.
இருடா குழந்தைய கெஸ் பண்ண விடுறா.
அதுக்கப்புறம்
No, it's the bunny.
Bunny.
Yeah, who's this, Krish?
Bunny.
It's a dog மாதிரி இருக்கா.
Dog வரல. Goat run.
Ideal.
Bunny.
No, it's Scrappy-Doo, Scooby-Doo nephew.
Scooby-Doo nephew.
Oh. It's that.
Scrappy-Doo.
Bunny வாடகை.
Who's this? All 90s kids, sorry, 80s kids, 70s kids, 2K kids, எல்லாருக்குமே தெரிஞ்சிருக்கும். இல்ல அட்லீஸ்ட் 90s kids வரைக்கும் தெரிஞ்சிருக்கும்.
Okay. Our Puff Girls, huh?
Powerpuff Girls, no? Next clue.
இருந்துச்சு அத வச்சு
தலையை காமிச்சாச்சு.
Flintstones தானே?
Not from Flintstones. வசந்தனா மீட்டிங் விட்டே கிளம்பிட்டார்.
அவர் ஆன்சர் பண்ற இது குஷியில எதையோ பிரஸ் பண்ணிட்டாருங்க.
ஓகே, அண்ணா ப்ராக்ஸி வேற ஒரு இதுல இருந்து ஜாயின் பண்ணியிருக்காரு. டிடி.
ஓ ஓகே 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 டிடி. ஓகே,
டெக்ஸ்டரோட தங்கச்சி.
டெக்ஸ்டரோட தங்கச்சி. ஓகே, ரொம்ப கஷ்டம்தான்.
இது யாராவது கண்டுபிடிக்க முடியுமா? கிரிஷ், யாரும் தெரிஞ்சதா கிரிஷ்? ஓகே, I'll give you the next clue. Should be easy, super easy இல்ல?
Wow, Jerry. Hey, Jerry.
Jerry. Super. Thank you, Krish, for guessing. I'll send you over these, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Anna, just send over your address.
அவங்க யூஎஸ்ல இருக்காங்க. ஏங்க
சரி, இந்த என்ன சார் இங்க இருந்து கொரியர் போட்டு விட்டா அங்க வந்துற போகுது, அவ்வளவுதானே?
சூப்பருங்க.
These are 3D printed whistles made in Coimbatore. Krish, these are for you, okay? I'll send them over to you. I mean, a fresh piece, not this one. Super.
Superங்க, fantastic.
Good work, Naveen.
கேரக்டர்ஸ் பேராச்சும் எனக்கு ஞாபகம் வந்துச்சு. கிறிஷ் கூட சேர்ந்து நம்மளும் கொஞ்சம் கேரக்டர்ஸ் ஞாபகம் வந்துச்சு.
நீ எங்கடா குழந்தைய விளையாட விட்ட?
ஒரு குழந்தைதான்.
நானும் ஒரு குழந்தை ஆயிட்டேன், அவ்வளவுதான். நம்மளும் டெய்லி டூன்ஸ்ல தான் சார் இருக்கு.
நான் மெசேஜ் பண்றேன்.
கண்டிப்பா.
டன்.
ஷமீர்,
வேற யாராவது சேர்ந்து இருக்காங்களாங்க?
யாருங்க?
இல்ல, அங்க கிறிஷ் மட்டும் தான் இருக்காரா? ஃபேமிலில ஒரு பையன் தானுங்களா? இல்ல வந்து you have 1 more, 2 more, 3 more?
2 more தான், அவ்வளவுதான். 2 சாரி, டோட்டலா.
சூப்பருங்க. அவரையும் சேர்த்து 3ங்க. அண்ட் ஷமீர், ஸ்மால் இன்ட்ரோ அபவுட் சூர்யா சார். ஹி இஸ் ஃப்ரம் அவர் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பேட்ச்ங்க.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay, okay, sir.
Shameer, now
First batch 95 ல இருந்து 1999 sir to be 94 ல இருந்து 1999. Oh, 94 to 99. Okay.
98ங்க.
98. Okay, okay, okay.
Yes. He is in US right now.
Okay, sir. Okay. Hi.
சூப்பருங்க. நான் காக்னிசன்ட் ஒர்க் பண்றேன்.
Oh, super.
Cognizant work. Okay, sir. Okay, fine, sir. Glad to get connected with you, sir.
சூப்பருங்க. நான் அதான் சைட்ல நிறைய பிசினஸ் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன். பட் எல்லாமே ஸ்மால் ஸ்கேல் தான். அதான்
யூஎஸ்ஏனா இந்தியாலனா?
என்னங்க இல்லங்க இங்க யூஎஸ்ல தான் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன்.
சூப்பர்.
சூப்பர்.
ஆமா.
எந்த ஸ்டேட்?
நான் இப்ப பென்சில்வேனியால இருக்கேன். பிட்ஸ்பர்க்.
பென்சில்வேனியா. நைஸ்.
நிறைய விஷயத்தை எக்ஸ்ப்ளோர் பண்ணணும். இப்பதான் கொஞ்சம் இனிஷியேட் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். இப்பதான் ஜிசி வந்துச்சு. ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணணும்னா. சூப்பருங்க. ஃபென்டாஸ்டிக். நல்ல பிளாட்ஃபார்ம் கிரியேட் பண்ணிருக்கீங்க. நிறைய பண்ணலாம்.
Surya sir, Naveen himself is a very big entrepreneur.
Science wise sir.
அப்படி இல்லைங்க. எஸ்ஆர்இசி கூடயே வந்துகிட்டு ஈவன் டு பி இன் பர்டிகுலர் ஏரோநாட்டிக்கல் டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்ல இருந்தே 2-3 ஆண்டர்பிரினர்ஸ் உருவாக்கி இருக்காருங்க அவரு.
சூப்பர்.
லைக் he is in touch with the campus.
ஈவி ஸ்பேஸ்ல தான் எனக்கு கொஞ்சம் இன்ட்ரஸ்ட் இருக்கு.
ஓகே சார்.
நான் தான் அவரோட கனெக்ட் பண்ணோம். ஈவி ஸ்பேஸ் பூம் வந்து அதுல இருக்கும் அப்படின்னா எனக்கு ஒரு ஃபீல் இருக்கு. சரி அதான் அதுல எக்ஸ்ப்ளோர் பண்ணலாம் நிறைய அப்படின்னு இருக்கேன். ஆட்டோமேஷன் மெயினா ஆட்டோமேஷன். நான் இப்போ இருக்கிறது ஆட்டோமேஷன்ல தான் இருக்கேன்.
ஓகே.
ஸோ இவி ஸ்பேஸ்ல பிரைமரியா வந்து எப்படி ஆட்டோமேட் பண்ணலாம், மெயினா அந்த பார்க்கிங் ஸ்டேஷன் டவுன் த லைன் வந்து ஃபுல்லா ஆட்டோமேட் பண்றது எப்படி அப்படிங்கறத தான் பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கேன்.
இல்ல
ஓகே சார்.
ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்கா சொல்லணும் அப்படின்னா வந்து நீங்க வந்து என்ன ஏரியாவை ஆட்டோமேட் பண்ணணும்னு நினைக்கிறீங்கன்னா,
இருக்கிற இப்ப கார் வந்து அட்டானமஸ் ஆனதுக்கு அப்புறம் வந்து ஃபுல்லி ஆட்டோமேட்டட் பார்க்கிங் லாட் பண்றது, காரை போய் பார்க் பண்ணிட்டு சார்ஜ் பண்ணிட்டு அது மாதிரி பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னு ஃபியூச்சர்ல பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னு ஒரு பிளான் இருக்கு.
ஓகே.
நைஸ்.
So like your focus area would be but it would be some developed countries, not immediately in India, I believe.
வந்துரும் சார், கொஞ்ச நாள்ல வந்துரும். ஸ்டார்ட் வித் யூஎஸ் யூரோப்ல வரதுக்கு குயிக்கா சான்ஸ் இருக்கு. பட் டவுன் த லைன் வந்து சிட்டில இருக்கிற பார்க்கிங் லாட் எல்லாமே எனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் காலி ஆயிடும். ஃபுல்லா ரிமோட் பார்க்கிங் லாட் வர மாதிரி தான் இருக்கும் டவுன் த லைன். மோஸ்ட்லி இந்த 10 to 15 இயர்ஸ்ல வந்து அது இம்ப்ளிமெண்டேஷன் ஆயிடும்.
ஓகே சார். ஓகே, ஃபைன். குட் தாட்ங்க.
ஆமா, சூப்பர்ங்க. ரொம்ப தேங்க்ஸ்.
Thank you நான்.
எஸ் சார். எஸ் சார்.
நான் விடை பெற்று கொள்கிறேன்.
எஸ் சார். பை சார்.
பை.
சூப்பர்.
தேங்க் யூ நவீன் ஜி. வண்டர்ஃபுல்ங்க. கிட்ஸ் கேம் அடுத்த லெவல் கொண்டு போயிட்டீங்க
சார். அவ்வளவுலாம் இல்ல சார், ஏதோ நம்மளால முடிச்சது.
எப்படி சார் இந்த ஐடியா வந்துச்சு? கிளாசிக்குங்க.
இல்ல இது என்ன சொல்றது, பல விஷயங்கள் இந்த மாதிரி வந்து போட்டு ரெடியா வச்சிருக்கேன். இந்த கம்பெனியில என்டர்டெயின் பண்றதுக்கு அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு வச்சது. எடுத்து விட்டேன், அவ்வளவுதான்.
செம சார், செம. அண்ட் ஷமீர் ரியலி வண்டர்ஃபுல்ங்க. SREC அலுமினி அசோசியேஷனோட ஒரு அசெட்டுங்க நீங்க. Looking into your profile, like definitely you will be a high-end resource for the SREC student community as well.
Anything.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you Naveen for introducing him. Thank you
sir. Anytime.
Thank you.
Enna Shameer, I will call you. I have a lot of feedback for you.
சரிப்பா கண்டிப்பா கூப்பிடு.
Fine.
Okay, bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Good night. Enjoy.
Good night all. Bye bye.